All right, let's go to Oklahoma City. I mean, where else would you rather be than Oklahoma City with my guy Chris Williams? What's happening, dude?
Oh, Pete, couldn't sleep last night. Ears ringing from the arena, the excitement. Oh, man, just tossing and turning.
I mean, I got to start with a vibe check on just the arena, the electricity pregame, and honestly, the sound and the noise inside that building. For folks like me watching from home, can you convey what the environment was like?
I mean, I don't even know if I can do it justice. Even Pat McAfee was admitting how loud it was. I wear earplugs during these games, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing earplugs because I can still hear everything so clearly. They call it Loud City, the upper bowl of the arena that's posted on the walls up there and everything, and they take pride in just yelling 24/7. And what's cool, going back to your 5 keys, defense wins championships. Defense is so much of this team. They get louder when they get a big stop or a steal on defense than when they knock down a 3 on the other end. It's unbelievable.
I think that speaks to the knowledge of the sports fan, too, in Oklahoma City and their understanding of basketball. You covering the finals for News 9. This is, I'm guessing, your first NBA finals.
Yeah.
So what was with all the pageantry, all the celebrities, all the, ESPN's there, the whole deal. What was if you had one, welcome to the NBA finals moment? Did you see something where you were like, man, that's kind of crazy?
They've been shooting Get Up and some of the ESPN morning shows. They've been using our second studio. So pretty much, I'm sitting at my computer working. Stephen A. Smith is just walking by with his sleeves rolled, his little swagger saunter. We did an interview with Kendrick Perkins, of course. He played here. Our sports director knew him back then, sat down with him, and standing next to him, I can't imagine a larger human being. I'll have to stand next to Shaq at some point, but Kendrick Perkins is massive. And watching him sit and just the chair disappear underneath him, that was pretty big. I saw Windhorse was in the studio yesterday. Chance to talk to SGA's dad. All of these things have just been kind of like, wow, like this wouldn't be happening if the team I happen to cover happened to be really, really good. So it's been a blast.
It's really cool. I mean, honestly, and it's really cool for careers like yours, or even if you're on the team, like an assistant coach, like a rising tide lifts all ships, right? Like, so like really, I mean, it's great for you. It's great for everybody around in that orbit. You mentioned, I got to find out about this interview with SGA's dad, Vaughn. It's on, you posted it on Twitter. It's a great interview. I'm encouraging people to make sure you go to Chris's Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, by the way?
Will TV.
Will TV, baby. All right, go to Will TV. Watch the interview. It's really well done, and you could tell he was enjoying his time with you. In your time with him, what about SGA's dad? I guess makes sense to you now after talking to his dad. Why SGA is so successful? Was there a tenet of his personality you think that is in SGA that a lot of times we're products of our parents?
Yeah. I mean, we have people in our control room, the directors, punching the buttons, producers who don't know much about sports, and they come out of it. They're like, he sounds just like Shea, not only in the way they talk, but the stuff they say, talking about the consistency. Every question you ask boils down to the process behind it, right? Are you surprised seeing your son be a global superstar? He's like, well, it's hard to wrap my head around, but I saw what he was doing at 11, 12, 13 years old. He told a story. So Nickeil Alexander for the Timberwolves, Shea's cousin, of course, they played against each other Western Conference Finals. He said that they used to just disappear sometimes. There'd be panic. Then all of a sudden Shea would call, Dad, we're at the Y, shooting back. And he's like, you got to tell us. But they were getting up early to go to the YMCA. They were, the exact same things that Shea talks about with the consistency, with the process, with just doing things the right way for long enough and not caring if people are noticing or not because you trust in the long-term plan. It was the exact same answers. It was fascinating to hear.
One of the things that you guys talked about during that interview was the day that SGA was traded to Oklahoma City. And it's funny, I have heard Doc Rivers talk about it because he was the Clippers coach. And, Lawrence Frank was in the front office doing the deals. But Doc was like, I remember he said, we're making SGA a part of the deal. And he said Sam Cassell, who was on his staff at the time, was like, dude, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just certain people knew the magnitude of that move. What did his dad tell you about that day and how they responded to it?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because, of course, Shay's talked about the positive of coming to this city, how well received he's been, that side of it. But it was nice hearing his dad say, look, he had just settled down in LA. He had one season under his belt, not even a full year in the city. His agent lived there. Life was good. And then he's moving to Oklahoma City, small town. They're from Canada, so they probably, they know even less about Oklahoma City than most. And he said there was a big feeling of letdown. And then he said it was about 10 minutes later that they got on the phone again. And it was like, you know what, Shay? This is a chance for you to be you. This is a chance for you to take center stage. Other people don't understand it, but me as your father, you being yourself, putting in the work, we know what you can do. We know what you can be. And I mean, it worked out. And he pointed out, like, his points per game went up from 9 to 19 in one season. That doesn't happen just from an off season of work. It happens also from being put in a situation where you can succeed. So it was fun hearing that, because it was nice hearing him admit, look, we were disappointed at first.
Yeah.
But then it came, okay, this is a blank slate to work with. And I followed that up with asking him, okay, well, what about the tank years? Because they were winning 20 games his first couple seasons.
Yeah.
And he said wasn't even a thought in their mind about it, because they knew if we trust the process and we do things the right way, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to.
And it's easy.
It worked out pretty well.
Well, and it's worked out amazing, right? But that is a great little nugget at the end there. It's probably easier to trust the process when you got a guy like Sam Presti calling the shots, and SGAs Dad, they're no dummies. I mean, so it's a little easier to turn your will over in a situation like that. Talking about this team as a whole, how have you seen them grow? Because we know they were really close before the playoffs started, but they've gotten even closer, if that was possible. Have you seen that before your own eyes? Like, as the postseason has gone on, you're like, man, these guys are even more in sync.
Yeah, definitely. There's, you know this, the NBA playoffs and then the NBA finals put a magnifying glass on everything. And that means it puts a magnifying glass on everything good, and it puts a magnifying glass on everything bad. And so all season long, you heard these players like Aaron Wiggins, Casey Wallace talk about, we have a role to play. When my number's called, I go in there. That's easy to say, harder to do. A lot harder to do when all of a sudden you go from playing 20 minutes in game whatever of the Western Conference Finals to 2, because that's how the rotations have been. And Isaiah Hartenstein was pulled out of the starting lineup for the first time all season in game 1 of the NBA Finals. I don't think that was a great idea, but he continued to say, look, it's hard, but I'm doing what I'm called upon to do. When I'm in the game, I'm going to give it my all. And he just continued to stay the course. So it's like all these things that they did all along when it was easier to do, they're continuing to do now that it's really, really hard to do it. And that's been fun to watch. That's maturity. That's all these growth things have been happening right before our eyes over the course of the last 20 games.
What was it like in the building last night when, Tyrese Halliburton kind of pulls up lame and heads back to the locker room? Were you close to that, or, what was the scene there?
It didn't feel like that was a big point of emphasis in the arena. I mean, it felt like when Jalen Williams hit his head early in the game and people, he got up kind of holding it like this and went off. That felt like a bigger moment of what's going to happen here on that side of things. But obviously the Tyrese 0 field goals turned out to be a big deal. But you didn't get the feeling in the arena that it was like, okay, Tyrese is out, they're going to run away with this thing, especially when Pascal Siakam and TJ McConnell's playing like an MVP somehow. So
TJ McConnell's unbelievable, right? It's like, the dummy in me is like, they should just start him. But then we know how that goes. Talk to me a little bit about Mark Daigneault. Like, what has he been like with the media over the course of the season? What have you been able to glean from being around him? Because, I was saying before you came on, I know you caught the tail end, like, I do feel like things are kind of shaping up for a possible dynasty, and just floating that out there when you see like it's a young team, a young coach, they're playing together, their defense is awesome, they go deep. What about him makes you almost believe me there? Like, why is he so good right now as a coach?
Yeah, well, I will say this. We have a Thunder reporter who is beat reporter, travels home and away all season long, and he's done it for the last 10 years. And he said of all the things Sam Presti has done, the guys he's drafted, the smartest thing he's ever done was hire Mark Daignault from their G League team to take over their main NBA team for the Thunder, because he is just mentally, he's so analytical. He's able to take a step back and look at every part of it, but he also just manages the egos, and they all feed off of this energy of just selfless. He's so humble. He truly doesn't want the attention. When you ask him questions, he's not going to give an answer for theater and show, which, on TV, you kind of want those answers sometimes. You want those bites you can run. He's going to give you an analytical answer about what he thinks happens, and he truly is going to look at every game as an opportunity. And it's human nature to let things feed into each other. Everyone says one game at a time. He's as close as you can get to truly taking it, scrubbing it. Next game's all that matters. Going to learn, going to do the best. He was out-coached a little bit in the early part of the series, a lot of it, by Coach Carlisle. He's not one to go run into his little rabbit hole or anything. He stays in there and says, okay, this is what we're learning. We're going to stay in the trenches, and we're going to just come back and do it the right way. He is an incredibly unique coach. I've never been around a coach like him where the ego's non-existent, and they are truly able to just take everything head on, one issue at a time.
All right, so take us behind the curtain now over there at News 9. I don't want you to give away too many secrets, but there's got to be, and this is why it's okay, you have nothing to do with the Thunder officially, but you guys are now probably preparing for them to win the title. What any like preparation, like are you guys looking at how you'll cover the parade, how what will happen if they win on the road and the team comes home? I mean, that's stuff that you're probably thinking about right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've been at the airport when the team comes home. Which is less impressive than the fans that have been out there, but we've been sending our overnight photographer there all through the playoffs. It's a tradition when they come home from these road trips and the final game of the season to have all the fans there, and we've been going. I know that we are there has been a process of preparing for a championship parade. And my understanding is that we would be the TV partners for a parade.
Let's go. News 9. Let's do it. I mean, dude, you got First Take going on in your studio. I mean, that's parade.
But I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't know. Okay. I'm sticking to the basketball side of things now. You still got to win 2 games. Pacers are excellent when their backs are against the wall. But as you can imagine, we would go big if they're able to.
How about? We'll finish up with a basketball question. How do you feel? Again, team you've been covering all year long. About their ability now to take that huge win, right? Kind of compartmentalize it and go on the road and still play, like their life depends on it. What do you expect out of this team in Game 6? And what we know, whether Tyrese Halliburton is 500% or 50%, it's going to be crazy in there. Yeah. And I've heard coaches say this too, role players play better at home. And so there'll be an opportunity for the Pacers to kind of reach deep on their bench. And, they played well at home. They almost won 2 games. So what do you expect out of the Thunder for Game 6?
And there's no doubt the Thunder role players last night, Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, shot the ball way better at home. Yeah. I would say, as crazy as it sounds, the Game 4 win was a bigger win for this franchise. And they needed it. They couldn't go down 3-1. They didn't play well. They found a way to win it. So the question you just asked was the question we were asking heading into Game 5, where it felt like the Thunder had the momentum. It also felt like the pressure was on. How can they compartmentalize this? Now it feels like, okay, they did it great and they're over the hump. And so I expect them to come out and play great basketball. I think there's a good chance that they're going to win it in 6. And I feel good saying that because before the last break, you said you would scrub this episode if, they don't end up winning the series. So I feel good putting that out there.
Yeah.
But this team has responded well. I know we saw them in a few series earlier where, like Denver, they could have closed it out and didn't. But I think that they are playing great basketball. I think when you go down to the core of it, they're a better basketball team than the Indiana Pacers. I think if you played this in a regular season series, they're probably winning 6 of 7, if not all 7 of them. So that, I think they'll be favored in Vegas. I think they should be favored in Vegas, and I would count on them winning it in 6. I really think this team is going to come out there and just build off of the last 2 wins and get it done.
All right, well, that's good knowledge for your newsroom there. You guys know how to prepare for the parade now, maybe a little bit earlier. Game 6, Chris has him winning. Chris Williams, C-Will TV, by the way. I'm telling you guys, if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, just go to Chris's Twitter, C-Will TV, and check out that interview he did with Vaughn, Shai Gilgeous' dad. It was really good, dude.
I'm going to put another story up today in a few minutes here. I was able to talk to Cody Williams, J-Dub's younger brother.
Yeah.
He plays for the Jazz, just finished his rookie season. And it ended up being a pretty fun Zoom interview I did with him Sunday. So I'm going to put that up too.
What's the number one thing about that interview that you were kind of piqued your interest?
Well, a lot of these NBA guys can have the tendency to try to be cool and just kind of answer questions on the baseline and everything. Cody was just fun. He talked about how nervous he is when he said when he's playing calm and cool, he has that personality. He said when Jalen's playing, he's freaking out, anxious, all of it. So it was fun. And then I asked him to clear up, the height discredit. J-Dub says he's 6'6", Shai calls him 6'4", and Cody goes, I think he's only 6'3". So it was fun. It was a different side of it to look at, and so it's been so much fun, Pete. Covering this whole thing has been unbelievable.
And it's been awesome to watch your star rise at the same time, dude. Chris Williams, News 9 in Oklahoma City, C-Will TV. Check him out. Chris, thanks so much, dude.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.